Hello, my name is Jordan Dollarson,
And I'm Joshua Ramsor.
and today our motivational plan analysis will be on prisons and how they motivate or try to motivate inmates and trying to make sure that they do not commit crimes while already in prison or while inside of prison. Today, our agenda today will be to look at the current plans of the prisons and their motivational plan and why these plans do not work. And we will tell you about why they don't work by looking at the reinforcement theory and expectancy theory and how these two theories can be used. We will talk about how prisons are unsuccessfully using these theories and how these theories can be used successfully in our own suggested motivational plans.
So there are multiple things that prisons decide on when it comes to dealing with inmates who have committed a crime while incarcerated. Some include solitary confinement, which is being segregated from the general population of the prison. And normally it's a 23 and 1 hour rule where they're in their cell 23 hours out of the day with 1 hour of recreation time where they're still separated from everyone else. Another one would be the removal of accumulated good behavior time. This is when their sentence is no longer able to be shortened because of good behavior while in prison, obviously for the fact of them committing a crime while in there. Another one would be confiscation of items. After committing a crime, it's very likely for a guard or someone to check out the cell of the inmate who committed the crime just to make sure that if he had anything he should not have or she should not have in their cell. And another one would be the transfer to another higher security prison. And this obviously depends on the crime committed while in prison. So the plan that prisons normally take when it comes to dealing with inmates who have committed a crime in prison are punishment and extinction. Like I said in my previous slide, the punishment part would obviously be giving the inmates a cell in solitary, which separates them from everyone else. This is punishment because you're giving a negative to a behavior that the inmate has decided to commit. The extinction part would be more so taking away his items or his commissary, which is a positive form, because it's snacks and it's things that could help him while he's in jail. The other two reinforcement theories are the positive reinforcement, which obviously is when you give someone a positive for doing good, and negative reinforcement. And negative reinforcement is when you take away something negative for the behavior done.
And when looking at the reinforcement theory, you can really look at improper implementation of the reinforcement theory. When you look at prisons, you have really just the inmates, the warden, and you have the prison guards. The prison guards are usually just there to make sure that everything is in order or break up fights, break up crimes that are committed, break up two inmates fight, anything like that. That's why they're there. They're not really there to help to rehabilitate these inmates. And it's really the only two options: punishment and extinction. The punishment is usually given by the guards at that moment with violence at times, and then extinction is probably handed down by the warden. And when inmates are have their things taken away from them. So really, the prison guards have a disinterest in managing the task, the hassles of true use of the reinforcement theory. So here we'll look at the expectancy theory and what exactly is the expectancy theory. So the expectancy theory is, as you see here on the screen, you have effort, performance, and rewards. And for effort to get to the performance, you have to have expectancy. And expectancy is a probability estimate that effort will lead to the task performance. Or in other words, the question, can I actually do it? Can I actually put in effort to reach this performance? Or ultimately the reward. And then you have performance to rewards. And here you have instrumentality, which is the probability estimate that task performance will lead to the outcome. Or you can look at the question as before: if I perform, will I get to the reward? And then finally, you have valence, which is the reward, which is looking at the actual reward. So the anticipated satisfaction delivered from an outcome. So you can also look at another question. Do I like the actual reward that I'm going to be given? And this is a basic overview of what exactly expectancy theory is. So when looking at our suggested motivational plan, we're going to look at reinforcement theory and looking at the revision of the actual implementation of the reinforcement theory. So just because that they use extension now and it doesn't work doesn't mean that it cannot work. We just feel that if we could use extension in a different way, it would be more successful. So in this theorized prison that we are creating, when inmates are sentenced and are sent to this prison, we believe that all privileges should be taken away from the inmates. No phone calls. There should not be any snacks or commissary. No basketball that can be played outside. Of course, they can still go outside, but no basketball to be played or any kind of sports. No visitors or anything like that. Just taking all that away immediately. The only way that they can receive these things back is to actually build up their good behavior. If they go without committing a crime for a certain amount of time, then we will begin to give them their privileges back, which this would be positive reinforcement. We will be giving them a positive. So we will allow them to have phone calls at first, then possibly build up to visitors, then continue. If they continue, we give them snacks. Then if they continue for a long time to go without crimes or committing any kind of acts that are not permitted, then they can have sports and play basketball and things of that nature, just to basically continue to build upon that positive reinforcement. And now when looking at expectancy theory, we have to look at the actual 3 different parts of this. So the actual expectancy, here the inmates must attend. So expectancy, we look back at that. That's a probability estimate that effort will lead to the task performance. We have to make sure that they know that the inmates know that they can actually do this. This can actually be achieved. You can come to prison and stay out of trouble. I know nowadays that seems impossible, but given this plan, hopefully this can motivate them to actually believe this. How we would actually put this into action is make sure that inmates attend rehabilitation courses and classes to help to motivate them. We believe this will help because if they are given classes, they will be able to be educated on how they can stay out of trouble, why staying out of trouble is good for them, and it will also help to motivate them so they can believe that they can actually believe that they can stay out of trouble. And then we move on to the actual instrumentality. Here's out of order on the slide, but actually it would be instrumentality next. And the inmates must be assured that they will receive these privileges. They will receive phone calls. They will be able to see their visitors. They'll be able to play basketball if they actually do what they are supposed to do. And the way that we would be able to ensure this is by having a dedicated staff other than the prison guards or the warden that will help in making sure that these inmates will get these privileges. So going to prison should help to rehabilitate those that can be rehabilitated. And so we believe if we have staff that these inmates will begin to trust and know that that I'm being good, they know that I'm not staying out of trouble, I'll be able to actually receive this reward. And so finally, we have valence. Taking away the basic privileges firsthand, they will know what it feels like to actually be in a real prison, that you cannot be coddled at all in any way. You take away all basic privileges. Inmates will actually better value these privileges once they actually receive them as rewards. So they will not only I believe any inmate would love to see their family again, be able to hear their wives, children, and things, and family, and all loved ones once again, if taken away from for a certain amount of time. So we believe this is how we could apply reinforcement theory and expectancy theory in a way that would allow us to actually motivate inmates to stay out of trouble while in prison and to successfully be able to be reintegrated into society and, overall help to reform prison. help prison reform. So yeah.